Yes. Okay, so the first question then I would like to you is to explain in very few words what has been, for your opinion, your biggest contribution to the number theory, and the one that has been taking you the longer time to do it.
Well, I'm going to borrow something I read, which the first winner of this prize said when he was asked that question. He said, would you ask a mother which of her children was her favorite or her biggest or her best or whatever?
Okay. Well, sometimes you have a favorite child. The one that understands you most.
I guess that's true. Oh my gosh. But well.
Well, maybe the one that has been taking you a longer time.
Longer time. There's some I never took a long time because I never did do it. Okay, one of my favorites is certainly my theorem about isogenies of elliptic curves over finite fields, and the statement makes sense over any field, and I had the feeling it should be true over number fields over any finitely generated field. And I was able to prove it over finite fields.
Okay.
And I tried and tried and tried to prove it over number fields. Never succeeded, but Faltings did succeed in 1983. Okay. Succeeded in proving that conjecture of mine together with the conjecture of Shefarevich and Mordell's conjecture. And all together, one package. And that was a great achievement.
Is there a Tate conjecture?
There is.
There is?
There is. And that was what Faltings did. What I did was a very special case, and Faltings did a more general case.
Okay, but is there a Tate conjecture that hasn't been solved?
Oh, there certainly is.
Yeah? And how is the probability that you will see it solved?
I'm getting pretty old. I wouldn't give it a very good chance.
What is that about?
Well, one way of stating it is that a certain group is finite.
Okay.
That there's only a finite number. And the Brouwer group of a most general form, I guess, would be that the Brouwer group of a what are the conditions? Well, a good scheme over proper scheme over spec Z is finite. Well, there is still more general. There's a more general Tate conjecture about intermediate Jacobians or something like cycles. Instead of about divisors, which are cycles of codimension 1, cycles of higher codimension.
Okay.
And I'm less confident about.
Oh, okay.
But, okay.
And, well, still about big open problems, what do you think in all spectrum, what do you think is which open problem is for you the most relevant, then mathematicians should work on and concentrate?
Well, I'm not sure relevant is the same as one they should work on, but I certainly wouldn't tell any young person who wanted to establish himself as a mathematician should not work on the Riemann hypothesis.
Or shouldn't?
No, should not, because the chances of
very little?
Very little. I mean, people have been working on that for 150 years. And the best, the greatest mathematicians in the world
Didn't succeed.
So, but that's, I think, the most,
Have you ever
for
thought
me,
about
the
it?
most important problem.
Okay. Have you ever thought about it?
Not much.
Okay.
uh,
How did you discover your passion for math? When you were young, maybe your parents were already in academia, or
My father was an experimental physicist.
okay.
My mother knew the classics. She was not at all scientific. But, well, I always liked math in school and found it very easy. I still remember, I don't have any idea what age, but it's maybe interesting that I still remember sudden realization. I must have been 4 or 5 years old.
Oh, wow, okay.
That 25 times 40 is 1,000. I don't know what this had to do with $10 bill, quarters.
Maybe 1,000 was a big number, then you could get with small ones.
But anyway, but then, so I was like, and then I got a hold of this book when I was a teenager called Men of Mathematics. It's by E.T. Bell, and it's not a politically correct title, Men of Mathematics.
Yeah, but that time.
But and it told about all the biggies, the greats of history. Each chapter was a life of one of the greatest mathematicians in history, Archimedes, Gauss, Newton. And I read that book, and I was fascinated, but I decided that I wasn't like these guys. There's no point in doing that for me. But I also, that's where I was struck. You I think, had one question about the thing that fascinated me most when I was young. And that was I learned in that book on the chapter about Gauss, about quadratic reciprocity. And I just was fascinated. I tried to prove it. It was just such a simple statement. Of course, it had taken Gauss a year or two to prove it. I would never have proved it, I'm sure, if I'd stayed by myself and tried to prove it. But anyway, but the miracle is that when I finished college and was going to graduate school, I decided I would go to graduate school in physics. I thought I could be a physicist, and I liked physics. My father, anybody could be a physicist, but I didn't think anybody could be a mathematician. It's pretty stupid to have kept that idea, but
maybe by that time in America, mathematics, well, maybe not, but physics maybe was more, if I can say, fashion or...
No, it wasn't a question of fashion. I just didn't think I had the ability to prove new things in math. And so I went to Princeton graduate school in physics. But then after one term, I just couldn't resist, and I tried to switch to mathematics. And of all things, who did I find was on the math department there? His name is Emil Artin, and he is the one who had made the final, well,